Yo, what is going on YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm somewhere else in the world. Today I'm in London. Some of you guys who follow me on Instagram will have seen that I've moved back. Finally, having done my PhD here, I've moved back, try to get settled in, so back on home turf. But hope you guys are keeping well. I'm going to try and be a little bit more frequent now with my uploads. Now that I'm, not in Hawaii, not in Ireland, not traveling around, I've actually got some sort of base. So I'm going to try and get a few videos a week for you guys. So as you can see, it is a pretty controversial title to this video. Why I think body fat percentage is bullshit. So let me elaborate. First of all, we need to break down what body fat percentage actually means. And when I question people on this, as simple as it sounds, they're actually a bit puzzled. It's exactly what it says in the tin. The percentage of your body weight that is fat. So if you are 10% body fat, then 10% of your body mass is fat. 90% isn't. If you are 20% body fat or have 20% body fat, 20% of your mass is fat. To make it simple, if you got a 100 kilo man who is 10% body fat, he has 10 kilos of fat in his body. However, this just isn't adipose tissue around your skin. It includes visceral fat, fat around your organs, amongst many other forms of fat, most of which are essential. So you need to take that into consideration as well. You could look quite lean on the outside and have quite a lot of visceral fat and be pretty unhealthy, which a large proportion of people within the industry are. Equally, you could have, some external fat, but your organs are really healthy and your visceral fat is quite low. So this is a conversation that I have with clients all of the time. I rarely track, if ever even ask or take any notice on what a client's body fat percentage is, for various different reasons. So first of all, we're going to talk about the different ways that you can test or try and gauge someone's body fat. So the most obvious, and probably the one that I use most with my clients, is visually. Looking at a client. Of course, there's no possible way that I could ever understand what their body fat percentage might be based on looking at them, but at the end of the day, the majority of clients don't really care about where their fat's deposited. It's about how they look and how they feel. So first of all, visually. How you look visually, and then get a rough gauge on what you think your body fat percentage may be. Although the scale to that is something that we'll discuss later. Probably the most common way that people measure body fat is probably using electrodes or calipers. Now, first of all, with electrodes. So these are the machines that you see in Boots, in some gyms. You put your hands on the electrodes or the weighing scales that you put your feet on, and it'll send an electric current from one side to the other through your body and get a gauge based on, an electric current, what percentage of your mass is body fat. Now, that all sounds well and good and sounds, scientific to some degree, but electrodes are manipulated massively by salt and water. So considering your body is made up of salt and water for the most part, you being dehydrated, super hydrated, low on salt, high in salt, is going to change these readings massively. So I would never recommend using these. You can use them as a very rough gauge, maybe at the start or at the end of a transformation. But even week to week, these are going to change massively. From day to day, from hour to hour, these are going to change drastically. So I wouldn't use them, in my opinion. Some of my clients use them, and what I will do is normally take a look at these over the space of 3 to 6 months, and then we'll get a good idea based on progression. So, caliper tests. Caliper tests are quite accurate. However, they will only measure your external body fat and not your visceral body fat, which is fine if your goals are physique. However, when you do a caliper test, you will have a specific number of sites that you measure. You can have anything from 4 to 7 to 9 to 14, whatever it is. You get all of these readings and you put them into a specific formula, and it gives you a body fat percentage. Now, all that sounds well and good. However, hypothetically, you have, let's just say we'll take 5 of these sites. What happens if you have person A who is extremely lean in those areas based on how that person is genetically made up in terms of where his body fat is positioned? So those sites are quite low on person A. However, person B may even be leaner than person A, but all of his fat is deposited on these specific sites. He's going to have a worse score. He's going to have a higher percentage body fat because everybody's deposition of fat is unique. So you need to bear that in mind as well. And like I said, it's only going to do external body fat, not internal body fat. What I do like about calipers though is that as an individual, not comparing yourself to someone else, you can gauge your own scores quite easily and you can gauge your measurements. However, you need to have someone doing it that is extremely accurate with that reading. So the best way to get your body fat percentage done is using a DEXA scan. So this is like a body pod that you sit into or stand into, and it will measure your whole body in terms of your body fat, your muscle mass, your bone density, everything. And this is by far the best way if you want to find out, what percentage of your whole body is made up of body fat. That being said, it's quite expensive, difficult to find, and probably not essential. So as you can see, it can be quite difficult to gauge someone's body fat percentage. And is there any need to really do so? My opinion, not really. I think if you want to have a look at your own progression, first of all, taking progress photos. If you want to do a caliper test, regularly, make sure it's accurate. Make sure you are only focusing on your own scores and not someone else's. Alternatively, and I know quite a lot of my friends that do this, they will have a DEXA scan at the very start. They will have a DEXA scan at the very start of their cut or their diet, and they will have another one at the end and compare the two. That is by far the most accurate, but is not always practical. So visually is probably the most logical, the most practical, and the most beneficial in my mind for an individual client. If you are a fitness professional or an athlete, then by all means do a DEXA scan, get a professional to do a really good caliper test. But looking at people in the gym and going, "Oh mate, what body fat percentage are you?" And "Oh yeah, I'm 12%. It's like, how could you possibly ever know that you're 12%? When you look at someone visually, you can't even tell that either when you're basing yourself on other people's progression. You can look at someone and someone can look extremely lean, but they could be 70 kilos. So you could look at someone else who's relatively lean, but they're 120, 140 kilos. So whatever fat they have is half the percentage based on their body weight compared to the person who's heavier. So you need to take that in consideration as well. You also need to realize that obviously the more muscle mass you have, the heavier your total body weight is going to be. So it's going to skew your body fat percentage based on that. But the bigger your muscles are, the leaner you will look, because the skin, the adipose tissue that surrounds your muscles, is going to expand and stretch. So all of these things need to be taken into consideration. Hypothetically, you want to drop your body fat percentage in a really small space of time. What would I recommend you do? Increase your body weight really drastically, really quickly. It sounds stupid, but it will work. There are loads of things you can do to put on, 3 kilos in 24 hours, which is what, 6-7 pounds? You could put that on in a very short space of time, and your body fat's probably not going to go up that much, at least not in a short period of time. So, but you've already skewed the score of the ratio based on your total body weight. So you can see how these things can be manipulated. Take home point, focus on you, focus on yourself, focus on your progression, listen to your coach. Generally most of my clients will want to look better, feel better, and they want to feel empowered. If they are looking at a score that is inconsistent, can be frustrating, doesn't really make a huge amount of sense, it's just going to make everything a lot more difficult. It's going to make their progression a little foggy. The inconsistency is going to skew them off. Sometimes they feel like they're eating perfect, their weight's coming down, they're lifting heavier, they're feeling better, and then all of a sudden they do, a stupid electrode body fat percentage test, and it shows that they've put on a percentage body fat. That is massively discouraging, and from a psychological standpoint, it is bullshit. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's a quick one, but something that I felt that based on this week, speaking to a lot of my clients on, their progression, it's something that came up quite a lot, something I felt that I needed to address. As always, guys, anything else that you want me to discuss, please leave a comment below. Please subscribe. You will get a notification every single time I upload a video, which this year is going to hopefully be quite frequently. Please give this a thumbs up. It will make a massive difference to the growth of my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.